I'm checking out Kazu now. I'm checking out Kazu languages. Let's go. 1.4 million. I didn't even know. All right, Kazu languages. I love that you say, I love languages. Me too. Please tell me you didn't self-identify as a polyglot. Huh? Can we do that? Can we not do that, in fact? Can we do that? We don't do that? Let's have a look. I'm going to read it. Goodness gracious. I love languages. Hello, I'm Kazu from Japan. Currently I speak 14 languages. If true, that's awesome. Which I studied properly. All right, so he translated this. This is Chanto Benkyoshita, so I can see what he did this. Yeah, I get it. These are English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Arabic, Indonesian, Russian, German, Turkish, Chinese, Korean, Thai, Polish, Dutch. What is Italian? Come on. Come on now. I'm also learning Greek, Tagalog, Cantonese, and Hindi. You just have a problem with Italian then. Apart from that, I speak Japanese for sure. Yeah, this is clearly translated from Japanese, like I can see that, which is my mother tongue. Cool. I have a feeling we watched him. I remember reading this now that I think about it, but let's see. What does he have anything in Italian, or is it all like girls fall in love with me because I speak many languages? Man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there is something about, obviously, in comparison to that clown we just watched, the Akram, I don't even know what to call him, imbecile. This guy is 50 million times more legit. But then again, 15 languages, 17 languages, is this real? I don't believe it. The guy sounds nice. Unless he's one of those who says, I speak, very various levels, but I speak 78 languages. But why are you even adding them at this point? Like, I would only make it a law in the language sphere. You can only add a language if you're at least B2 level. Not certified. And the reason why I'm saying that is because some people may put in the work, but they don't have the money. They can't afford the certification. I don't want to exclude people on the basis of financial ability. Okay? So I'm not saying that you have to have the degree, but I'm saying a level. If you're not at least a freaking B2, don't add the language. Because if you want to say, no, I do speak it, but I know like 17 words, why are you adding that? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's legit. It's just that these times, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is he legit? I see the Italian flag. I spoke 12 languages to strangers, even famous. All right, well, let's see.
Hello.
Italian.
Hello.
Oh, okay. So we've got Swahili. Thank you for the sections, chapters. German, I surprised them. Spanish, she went speechless. Did she though? Russian, okay. Korean, Ukrainian. You know what I'm going to do, guys? Because I'm not really for they were so amazed by me. Because to me, it's not his fault. Everybody does it. Okay, not his fault, not attacking Kazu. I'm sure he's cool. But I'm saying, I don't know. I feel like he makes it too much about me. Look at me. I make them all amazed by how much of a genius I am. Maybe it's not the way he's approaching this, but a lot of people do. I'm more interested in the communicative aspect of it. Like, look, we interacted. We had a good time. It was fun. I prefer that. But regardless, I'm so going to when I make a video too on Omi TV, I'm going to, clip me. I'm going to make the most outlandish titles and thumbnails in the space on purpose to clown, not on him, but on the people that do this. Oh, everyone is so amazed, including Xiaoma, by the way, who's the initiator of all this. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it like ridiculous, like, so over the top. It's going to be really... I did it actually recently on a video where I said how to learn 100,000 words in a day. I'm doing it on purpose. Because that's... anyways, Italian, please. Where is the Italian part? Korean, Ukrainian, multilingual, meta-famous. Yeah, there is an Italian flag. So we'll watch the Italian part. Yeah, I just hope that the Italian sections are not just like him saying, hello, how are you? Where does the Italian flag appear? It appears here. Let's go. All right.
에서 6년 살았었고 그다음에 프랑스에 있을 때 이탈리아어 조금 공부했어요.
Italiano? Parli italiano.
Un po' così.
Mamma mia, ma dai, ma dai.
Parlo abbastanza italiano per viaggiare, per ordinare nei ristoranti, leggere libri semplici. Però non parlo puramente.
I feel like I'm actually reviewing him since he's not really saying anything, but maybe he's just being polite and he'll speak afterwards.
Ma parli molto bene, anche francese, coreano, giapponese, moltissimo, moltissimo,
Grazie.
letteralmente, 5,
5, 6.
You speak English fluently, right?
And he switched back to English. So we didn't have a lot to judge. I mean, it's cute sounding, and the guy on the right, his Italian was like very clearly not the level of someone who focused on Italian, but as he says, a little bit of Italian to travel here and there. I mean, it was fine. For what I can see as of now, I don't know, I would put him in an A1, personally. So someone who knows a little bit of Italian with a strong Japanese accent, which then again, when I speak English, I have an accent. Not pointing the finger, but if I have to go... Nani? If I have to go like this, they need to sound not even just Italian. I want them to speak like with a Roman accent. Oh, parli italiano, like, or with a Milanese accent, or with like a Sicilian accent at this point, with a Neapolitan. Like I need to be mind blown. Which, by the way, I have been a couple of times. There was a time when I was younger, and I remember I was 18, and I met this American guy, pretty young. He must have been like 20. You could tell he was American. It was like as tall as a lamppost. He had super blonde hair, blue eyes. The guy wasn't from Sicily. I think it was quite obvious. But I did meet him in Sicily. And at that point, I had already met a lot of Americans. That were like, I was kind of hanging out with Americans in Sicily because there was this group, and I thought, Americans are cool. They're like, I feel like in a movie. That's me when I'm 18, right? 17. So I was hanging out with these guys, and they did speak Italian, but you could tell, like, it was super accented Italian, not particularly fluent. But I didn't mind. I didn't care. I actually thought it was cool. To me, the American accent and the way they were constructing the sentences, which we would never do, it sounded cool. It was a plus for me. But then I met this guy, and I swear, when he opened his mouth, the cognitive, what do you call it? Disassociation that I got in my mind, it was insane, because he sounded literally like an Italian would, but with a strong northeastern accent, specifically from Friuli. And the reason why I could recognize it is because that's where my dad is from. And he sounded exactly like my dad. Dissonance, yeah, cognitive dissonance in my brain between what I could see and between what my ears were hearing was insane. And I'll be honest with you, with Italian, it only happened once, and it was that time. Because usually, even if they're really fluent in Italian, you can tell by the way they form the sentences, the intonation, the structure, and whatnot. But with this guy, it was insane. And I asked him, like, how did you do it? That's what I did as an 18-year-old. I'm like, wait, were you born in Italy? He's like, no. I'm like, how did you do it? And he's like, oh, I watched a lot of TV. I haven't got a clue what that means. And it was funny because he sounded like my dad. So he had, to tell you what that sounds like, in my dad's region, Friuli, so if you're into HEMA, for instance, historical European martial arts, that would be where Fiore dei Liberi was, the guy who wrote the treatises for sword fencing and whatnot. Anyways, that's where my dad is from. And one characteristic that they have there is, for instance, when in Italian the C is pronounced like a ch, like piaciuto, piace, piacere, 500, they pronounce it like a Z, like a ts sound. Or TS, if you will. So they say like piazzuto, ti è piazzuto, 500 instead of 500, or like, and that my dad still does it after like whatever the heck, 50 years in Sicily, he hasn't dropped it. And my cousins do it. Not every single person does it, but it's a characteristic of that accent, and this guy replicated it exactly the same. What else? They do have typical northern things like the S in an intervocalic position. So there is the S and it's in between vowels. It's always a Z. That's a characteristic of very, very northern sounding accents. In the South, that's non-existent. They're all pronounced like the S in sun, even in intervocalic position. I'll give you an example. In the North, they would say filosofia. In the South, we would say filosofia, a bit closer to how it is pronounced in Greek. So Z versus S is a distinctive feature of Italian accents. Interestingly enough, Tuscany is in between, because in Tuscany, rather than being it's always one way or the other, it's mapped onto the connections to Latin. And so in Tuscany, sometimes they pronounce it like in the south, and sometimes they pronounce it like in the north. What makes it a little bit of an interesting in-between when it comes to the two approaches to the language. Anyways, I didn't want to go into a phonetic discussion of Italian and regional varieties, but that guy blew my... So unless that happens, I'm not going to go like, oh my gosh, unless maybe... And it's not just a matter of accent, but even fluency and vocabulary acquisition. If they sound native, or if they sound like they're mapping their own language and literally swapping the words. So I didn't hear much. I am curious for his Italian, so I'm going to see if we can find more. Italian flag. There is an Italian flag here, more... Is there an Italian flag here? No, there is one here. Let's see.
Hello.
Konnichiwa.
You got girls all over him. Let's go Turkish, Thai, American, Chinese, epic. I wouldn't mind, actually, I don't mind hearing his Chinese a little bit to see how he does with tones. But I don't see the Italian flag. Maybe the multilingual section, it has to be. I saw the Spanish flag. Where is the Italian, man? France, Germany, Italy. All right, parli italiano. Let's go.
I think.
No.
I think
That's impossible.
it's Italian.
Parli italiano?
Let me come back. Sì.
Sì, oh, perché? Perché parli italiano?
How do you know all these languages?
Like in that case, just to, as a teaching thing for you, if you are interested in Italian, you know when he says parli italiano, the guy says sì. And then he says, perché parli italiano? That's fine, it's okay. Why do you speak Italian? As a native, I would say, come mai parli italiano? Because come mai means how come. How come you speak Italian? Like, when you're not... You can use perché, but come mai kind of gives the idea of you weren't really expecting that, because it contains the word mai, which means never. In fact, how come in Italian, come mai, is literally how never, meaning... Well, I never see this, so I'm kind of surprised. So personally, that's what I would have said. You can, even as a native, say, perché parli italiano? It's very direct, though, which is why I would personally say, come mai parli italiano? That's what I would say.
Mi piace imparare altre lingue, quindi I like to learn other languages.
Nice.
Wow, how do you know Italian?
My
But
dad's
it's
from
finished.
Italy.
Oh, wow,
His dad is from
okay.
Italy.
You like matoke?
But they switched back to... So he does... That's the problem. Yeah, as of now, I cannot give him more than an A1, simply because he says 2 sentences and switches back to whatever other language. I'm going to check his Mandarin a little bit.
本当に
Yeah,
すみません
yeah. 你会说日语，对不对？
我不我只会很简单的
不是简单的，
这不简单吗
你的日语非常好。
谢谢谢谢
Well, he seems quite confident when he speaks Mandarin, at least. So far, maybe Mandarin is one of his strong languages?
不用谢，
Did he say 不用谢?
你的日语非常好，
His 非常好 is nice, sounds very natural.
谢谢
不用谢。
不用谢. I'm not a huge fan of the way he pronounces the X, though. I think he needs some work there.
现在我没有机会说中文，所以我想跟你练习一下。
哦可以啊可以啊
啊，谢谢。
Welcome
Welcome。
She's adorable.
你很友善，
我很友善
很
谢谢
友善
谢谢。
对，You can.
You're friendly too
No, thank you so much, thank you.
你没有遇到很多中国人吗在这里
之前我没见过。
那你一般都会认识到哪
Yes, so what I can see so far, I don't know, I'm more than happy to have him over, by the way, for an interview. Meaning that I did say his Italian sounds like an A1, and maybe that offends him. Because he could be like, no, my Italian is actually really good. We can have a conversation, and I'm more than happy to be proved wrong. It's just that for what I could see as of now, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he wants... We don't have to, though, so if he wants, we can only speak Japanese, or we can speak English and Japanese, not a problem. Whatever he feels comfortable. I'm not trying to ambush the guy, because this Kazu guy seems really nice. He seems nice. He has a very strong accent, which, then again, nothing wrong with it, but it's the only reason why I'm pointing out accents. Like when he speaks Italian, he sounds like someone who is basically mapping katakana onto Italian. And the only reason, there's nothing wrong with it, but the only reason why I'm pointing it out is because generally speaking, within the language space, we have reached a point where language students want to appear as prodigies. Maybe it's not his case, although then again, when you look at the thumbnails, but I understand the game, brother. Like you're trying to win the algorithm, and you did. 1 million, 1 million, 900,000, 1.6, 1.4 million. This is phenomenal. And this is a lot of money. Let me see, how often does he post? 3 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a month, maybe, roughly. 2 months, yeah, 5 times a month, sometimes twice a month. Well, as someone who works, I mean, I am a YouTuber, right? Twice a month, even if you get these views, you're not going to make much money. It is what it is. But 5 times a month, and every upload gets like 1 million, 500,000, that's good change. That's good money. That's good money. Now, if he was a daily uploader and was getting 1 million views per video, this guy would be making like 80K, 100K a month. But I understand that it's not. It's a different discussion. Anyways, he's making good money, probably. And not a lot of upload frequency, so probably not as much as you would think, but probably good money. And I understand he's trying to trick the system. That's fine. We're all, don't hate the game, the player, hate the game. I understand all of that. It's just that whenever I see this idea of a prodigy, everyone is a prodigy, everyone is fantastic, amazing, I can't believe it, how did you do that? But then I'm expecting a lot. That's all I'm saying. And so that's why I may seem a little bit like, yeah, but you're kind of judgmental when it comes to their accent or the pronunciation or sentence structure. And the only reason is because of the expectation that has been generated by the thumbnails and the claims. That's all. That's the only reason. If you told me I only study 2 languages or I study 1 language, I would be doing nothing but praising you. But when you tell me you're an amazing... Well, he didn't use the word polyglot, so that's 5 points for you, Kazu Languages, if you do watch this. I'll give you 5 points because you didn't call yourself a polyglot, at least in the description. But I'm just saying, that's the space we inhabit right now, and that's just how it is. What do you guys think? Am I being too harsh? You could tell me. Elmo back there wants the soda. Totally wants the soda. Is polyglots in the video titles? Maybe. My brain cancels it out. But yeah, you're right. It is. So, yeah, well then, I'm sorry. Japanese polyglot speaks 15 languages. Yeah, then I'm gonna be a bitch about the languages. If you use the word polyglot, I'm gonna be a bitch about it. Is what it is. But as I say, if he thinks that, even if he just wants to have a conversation, I'd be more than happy to. Let's have a conversation. Speak a little Japanese, a little Italian. I don't mind that. And, cool. Not a problem. Not hating on the guy. I hate the word polyglot. It's different. It's visceral. At least it's not a hyper polyglot. Is it? I'm gonna scroll through. I need to see, because if I see a hyper polyglot, it's immediate enemy. Just so you know, I can be forgiven. For the word polyglot, I'm like, maybe he doesn't really know how it's used, perceived, so he sees other people use it. But if you put hyper polyglot, it's scorched earth immediately. And you know why? Because the people that came up with that expression the reason why is because they were calling themselves polyglot. I'm right. They were calling themselves, look at me, I'm so special, I'm a polyglot. But then this became such a common thing, since everybody was frauding and being a fraud, and frauding, just made up a word. Everybody was like, this is good, I'm going to pretend to be a polyglot. That the people that wanted to feel so special about it, they're like, but now everyone is a polyglot. Well, then I am a hyper polyglot. It's just so pathetic, the creation of that expression. Oh, you're a polyglot? Well, then I'm more special than you because I'm a hyper polyglot. What you going to do about it now? 400 languages, the guy said. No, it's only polyglot. I mean, he does use polyglot everywhere. He does. Polyglot this, polyglot that, it's everywhere. But he's Japanese, so maybe he doesn't exactly know how badly that word is considered now. Multilingual man. Fine. He didn't say hyper polyglot. I'll give him a chance. Fine. I didn't see it. Okay. Hyper polyglot. Oh my gosh. And since I am fraud prevention specialist, investigating these giga chats is fun, and it's my... Oh, I see. It's like your thing. Totally, yeah. Absolutely. Hyper, ultra, mega, super polyglot. Yeah. Yeah, because they're going to have to keep eventually. So many people will claim hyper polyglot status. They'll have to come up with another word. They will. Watch it. It's pathological. So they will. It's never going to be enough.